Om Sarvadharmasthapakastam Sarvadharmasarupakah Acharya Namahacharya Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha Om Bhadram No Apivataya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sisters and brothers, loving Om Namo Narayana to each one of you. This talk was given a few years ago at a recital of the Sundarakand. I thought I would share it with you this afternoon. Now, the Sundarakand has become very popular among Hindus in South Africa of late. And when asked why is this popular, people will say to you, because it is a wonderful chapter, it is a beautiful chapter, etc., etc. But how can it be a beautiful chapter if in it we find the mother of the universe mourning in a forest that belongs to somebody else? How could it be beautiful if we find that a city is destroyed by what is known as a monkey? So why really is it called the beautiful chapter? In my opinion, it is for these reasons. Firstly, it is the first chapter, it is the only chapter in the Ramayana in which Ram does not appear from the beginning. In each of the other chapters, he is there from beginning to end. But here in this chapter, he appears only in a very cameo appearance towards the end. That is one. Secondly, it is not given to us by Ram himself, but by Ram through Hanuman. And we are going to look at these lessons as we go along. Now, to appreciate something which is beautiful, one has to take a few steps back. So we're going to take a step back into the Kiskindakand, the tail end. Here we find that the Vanaras, and Vanaras are not necessarily monkeys. Vanaras are plain forest dwellers. Another translation of Vanara is pre-nara, pre-man. So here we find that they are assembled on the shore of what is now known as Dhanushkodi in Rameshwaram. They have been told by Sampati, the brother of Jatayu, that he had seen Ravana taking Mother Sita across the ocean to his kingdom. And while sitting there, Sampati was able, through his eagle eyes, to see exactly where Mother Sita was as well. So having received this news then, the Vanaras debate as to who is going to make the crossing. Jambavan, the most senior of them, was able to do it. However, he had a feud with Ravan, and he was afraid that having gotten there to Lanka, he would not return alive. Others of the Vanara felt that they could just do parts of the distance. Some could reach there but not return. Some could only go halfway, and so forth. And while this chatter was going on among the Vanaras, Hanuman removes himself from the madding crowd, as it were, and sits aloof from them. Shortly, he is approached by Jambavan, who recalls to him his greatness, that he has great power, that he has many gifts which have been given to him by the various gods, and he could use these gifts in order to accomplish the mission on which they had been sent. When this is told to Hanuman, he gains power, he becomes strong, he puts on his strength and grows strong both morally and physically. Now, we are reminded here of the story that Master told about the lioness and the cub. Having been killed by a hunter, the lioness gives birth to a cub, and the cub lives among the sheep, and it learns the habits of the sheep. It eats grass, it beats like a sheep, and so forth, till one day another lion comes by and is astounded to see a lion among the sheep, and goes and gets hold of this young lion and takes him to a pond and says, "Look here, you are like me, you are a lion." And then that lion realizes who it really is. Here we find that the same thing has happened. So Jambavan here plays the part of a guru, giving this newfound knowledge to Hanuman. So having received this knowledge, Hanuman then makes the leap across the ocean. And the gods are very pleased with this, that the mission is going to be accomplished after all. So they asked Mount Mainaka, a submarine mountain, to rise above the waters and offer rest and refreshment to Hanuman. And Mainaka does just that. And on his journey, Hanuman comes across this mountain, and we are told that Mainaka tells him why he has come up from under the waters. But Hanuman would not wait. The task has to be accomplished. So he just places his hand on Mainaka so as to acknowledge the gift or the good thoughts of the gods and proceeds on his way. Here we learn a lesson that when we are given a task, we have to do it till completion. Here we also are reminded of what Swami Vivekananda had said, "Stop not till the goal is reached." So Hanuman was not going to be stopped. On this journey then he comes face to face with an ogress by name of Surasa. The word Surasa can be divided into Su and Rasa. Rasa means taste, and Su is good taste. And what gives us good taste? The sense objects, things that we see around us, things that we hear, things that we smell, etc. Those are the things that give us good taste. And very often we are trapped by this. So he comes face to face with Surasa, and of course Surasa wants to eat him up, we are told. And indeed, if we are caught up in the web of sense objects, we are going to be eaten up spiritually. So Hanuman is able to get away from Surasa, and we know how he did it by extending himself as much as possible in the mouth of Surasa, and then as quickly as possible becoming as small as possible, and then exiting from there. So these are one of the 8 siddhis that Hanuman had. In the Hanuman Chalisa we come Ashta Siddhi Namanidhi Ke Dahata. So this is one of it, where he could become as big as possible and as small as possible as well. So having exited the mouth of Surasa, he goes on his way of Shimika. Shimika represents the senses, our 5 senses. It is said that Shimika is able to this. Is it possible, in the first place, to get hold of a shadow? Man's shadow is his mind. So the sense has to be tugged at in order that the horses could be, that the journey or the direction of the horses could be corrected. So Here he is then, he is confronted by Shimika, and here as well, by sheer discrimination and knowledge, he was able to get away from Shimika. And it takes a lot of strength and intelligence to do that. And in real life as well, in order not to be the slave of our senses, we have to use a lot of discrimination and personal effort. He continues on his journey, and at the entrance of Lanka, he is met by Lankini, the sister of Ravan, and she stops him. He would not be allowed to enter into Lanka because she has been told that she should not allow any rogues to enter Lanka. And yet she has already done that. Has she not? She has allowed her brother, who has stolen the wife of somebody else, entrance into Lanka. But here she puts a stop to Hanuman's entry. Lankini represents discrimination, the ability to tell right from wrong. And again, it takes a lot of intelligence to put discrimination into effect. And we find again Hanuman was able to do that. He gives a blow to Lankini and goes his way in search of Sita. And having entered Lanka, he goes through the streets looking. Well, yes, indeed, he had been told by friends there is actually a devotee of Lord Vishnu. So he enters the hut, and we find that he comes across Vibhishana. And Vibhishana tells him the story as to why he is there. And then Hanuman advises him to join the forces of Ram against Ravana. And then again, Hanuman Chalisa, Tumaro mantra Vibhishanamana. So his advice to Vibhishana was again like a mantra. He again was acting like a guru to Vibhishana. I must understand that in life one can have many gurus and many types of gurus as well. Apart from one Satguru who gives the initiation, there are other gurus as well, Upagurus. So here he plays that part. And of course, Vibhishana gives him direction as to where Mother Sita is, and he goes there. And indeed, he finds Mother Sita wailing for Ram. An interesting thing here, that she is sitting under what is known as the Ashoka tree. And here again, Ashoka is made of two letters, two words, Ashoka. Shoka is sorrow, and Ashoka means absence of sorrow. But under this tree, which represents no sorrow, is sitting Mother Sita, sorrowing away. And the Ashoka tree has to be mentioned here. Something about it has to be mentioned. We've heard about the Panchavati, consisting of Ashoka, Ashwatha, Amlaka, Bel, and Bhat, or fig. Those are the five. And why are they important? It's because they give out certain vibrations, certain positive vibrations, which are conducive to spiritual practice. Therefore, we find that either in a Panchavati or under one of the trees of the Panchavati, you will find a sage sitting. Even Buddha himself sat under the Bodhisattva tree, which is a peepal tree or Ashwatha tree. So here we find Mother Sita, and then here Hanuman introduces himself to her and presents her with a ring that Sri Rama had given. And she recognizes that, yes, Hanuman is after all a messenger from Lord Ram. Here again, we find that Hanuman acts as a guru by handing over this ring to Hanuman, to Mother Sita. It is like handing over a mantra to a devotee. And once Mother Sita recognizes the ring, the sorrow disappears. She is now quite convinced that help is near at hand, that God is near. And this is how it should be when we are initiated. This is the attitude we should have, that God is now near. And in order to recognize that God is near, we have to conduct ourselves in such a way as to recognize the presence of God. But for example, if while the arati is going on and you are busy with your cell phone, then that is total disrespect to the deity. So Sita then is consoled, and Hanuman is now ready to return. He had been instructed to find Sita. That was the instruction, plain and simple, find Sita. But he decided to go the extra mile and use some time while he's there to reconnoiter, to look around, to see the layout of the place, so that when they come later on, they know exactly what is where and what to do where. That is one thing. And also while he was there, he decided that he must put some fear into these Rakshasas. So we find that he burns part of Lanka and then returns. Now here again we learn another lesson, that when we are given a task, we do not only do the task that is given us, we should be going the extra mile. As devotees, it is incumbent upon us that we go the extra mile always. But we do not find that. We find that devotees want to take the easiest way out of a situation, given a task. And they'll do exactly what has been told to them and nothing more. And this is actually something that holds back the growth of an organization. So from this lesson then, from this we learn that we have to go the extra mile. Okay? And to recap now, in the beginning, we learned that it is necessary to have a guru. We learn that once we are given the mantra, we should not stop chanting the mantra and paying respect to our deity. And of course, here now we find that we should always be prepared to go the extra mile. Of course, there are other things that can be mentioned about this whole Sundarakand. We find here in Lanka that there are three different gunas that are manifest. Tamoguna is manifest in Kumbhakarna, Rajaguna in Ravan, and Sattva-guna in Vibhishan. In families as well, we find this, that all do not have the same mindset. There are different ways of looking at things and handling things. And also we learn here that there is not always total bad. There can never always be total bad. No, there can there be total good. There will be good as well as bad. And sometimes there is more bad than good, and that is when the avatar has to arrive to put matters right. So we find these three brothers then exhibiting these qualities. And then, of course, the 10 heads of Ravana, it represents the 5 sense organs and the 5 organs of action. Ravana himself represents lust. And on this occasion, during this period, Lord Vishnu incarnated in order to destroy the lust that was present during that period. So with these few thoughts on the Sundarakand of the Ramayana, I pray that by the grace of Ram, by the grace of our Holy Trinity, we are able to progress spiritually day by day. Om Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.